In 2020, I closed down my bank accounts in Ireland and I moved to a new country. Shortly after, I closed my company that was based in Ireland and then reopened that company in the new country that I moved to. I established a residency base in the country, and the big question is why. I've pretty much lived in Ireland for my entire life. During college, I spent 2 months living in Mexico and 5 months living in Asia, but apart from that, Ireland was always my home. For context, pretty much all my family and my home friends are still living in Ireland, so making the decision to leave Ireland and to cut my ties was not an easy decision. Of course, I had to sacrifice quite a lot, which I'll get into in this video. But first, here are the 4 main reasons why I left Ireland and why, as of today, I don't plan on returning anytime soon. For context, my name is Adam, I'm 25, I run a 7-figure online business, and I can work from anywhere in the world. Reason number 1 as to why I left Ireland was taxes and wealth preservation. If I was still living in Ireland, I would be paying multiple 6 figures per year in taxes, and because I run an online business that's very profitable and I don't have to be in any one location to run the business, paying almost 50% of my income to the government just doesn't make sense. I have always disagreed with Ireland's progressive tax system because in my opinion it's just not fair. But hey, life isn't fair and that's why I left. For example, if you make 20k a year in Ireland, you're probably going to pay 20% income tax, which is not too bad. But if you're making 200, 300, 400, 500k per year, you're probably going to pay close to 50% in income tax. Here's the way I look at it. If you tax the rich at an obscene rate, they're either going to stay and hate you or leave. That's it. Pretty simple. As much as any rich person is going to tell you that they don't mind paying taxes, trust me, they do. That's why they will pay an incredibly expensive accountant to try and legally minimize their tax burden. If people really loved paying taxes, they would just give more to the government. They would say, hey, take 90% of my income. This to me was the biggest driver for me to leave, because this also links to the cost of living in Ireland. For example, I can allocate 1,000 to 2,000 a month for my rent, and I can either get a box apartment in Ireland where the weather is pretty shit nearly all the year, which I'll touch on very shortly, or I can go somewhere else where the sun is shining with a beachfront apartment, incredible views, and just a better life. Which brings me to point number 2, the weather. Pretty much no explanation is needed here. The weather in Ireland is pretty much shit for the entire year. There's a couple days during summer where it's hot enough where you can actually take off your t-shirt, you can sit on the beach, and you might be able to get a bit of a tan, but those days are few and far between. So for me, the seasonal depression that comes with winter, where it's dark super early, where you wake up and it's dark, and then it's dark at 5 p.m, and you didn't even get any sunlight on you in that day, that's not for me. And the burden that that type of weather places on my mental health is not worth it whatsoever. I'm much happier and much better in a sunny climate. Reason number 3 is the Irish drinking culture. So if you're not from Ireland, let me explain very quickly. In Ireland, you start drinking very young. In my case, I had my first proper drink, so a full can of alcohol at age 12. And as you become 13, 14, 15, that progresses till eventually you're in a field with your friends and you've got 6 or 7 cans each. And at that age, you are getting hammered. Sick in the fields by 6 p.m, home by 9 p.m, watch a movie, go to bed, and good to go. So for me, from the age of 12 all the way up to about 16, I drank quite a bit. Part of the culture, it's great fun. Really formative years, and I definitely wouldn't trade it. From 16 to 18, I was on really strong medication for acne, and I was not allowed to drink. I tried drinking with the medication, and I literally felt like my face was going to explode, so I said, right, I'm not going to do that. So I had a taste of what it was like to not drink. Let me just put it this way. In Ireland, if you don't drink, it's almost like a cardinal sin. It's like there's something wrong with you. That's how normal it is. So that opened my eyes to see, like, this is a bit crazy. Then I started drinking again from probably 18 to 19, and I decided once again, I'm not going to drink. Not because I was on medication. This time it was a logical, conscious decision I made because I was going through this self-improvement journey. Stop drinking along with a whole lot of other things. We won't get into those right now. So look, Irish people are known to drink. It's part of our culture. Like I mentioned, I actually really like this part of our culture, and I like to have a drink. But the problem I have is that this becomes a weekend culture. Because you've got shit weather, the norm is that every Friday and maybe every Saturday you go to a pub, it's raining outside, and you have a lot of drinks. Why? Because there's nothing else to do, the weather is terrible, and you're all feeling the depression. You're all feeling how negative it is to be in that environment. So the best thing to do is to go and get drunk. That I didn't like. That's why I don't do that. And that's why I'm not in that environment that promotes that. And reason number 4 is growth. In Ireland, for me anyway, it's very easy to get stuck in your comfort zone. First, I'm going to be surrounded by my family and friends. Most people are not making a lot of money, so if I'm making decent money, I feel like I'm the shit. I feel like I've made it. It's very easy to be a big fish in a small pond in Ireland. You make 1, 2, 300k a year and you're balling. Apart from the guys that are older and worth billions, you're in that top tier. You're in the 1%. That's great for a while and I enjoyed that, but then there's a time where you're like, I want more and I don't feel like I'm growing. So that's when you need to start moving to get around the people making 1, 2, 300k per month, not per year. So with that being said, those are the 4 reasons as to why I left Ireland. Again, it was not an easy decision and I had to sacrifice a lot. For example, I don't spend a whole lot of time in Ireland because I can't. If I was to spend 7 months a year in Ireland right now, I would have to pay taxes in Ireland, so I don't. But I do return multiple times a year. As I mentioned, I've got family, I've got friends there, so I do come back 2, 3 times a year. But that's why I left. And look, you might be watching this and if you're Irish, I hope you didn't get offended by this. I'm just sharing my raw, honest thoughts. But if you're from any other country, you probably know that a lot of what I've spoke about probably relates to your country as well. And it's fine to leave. It doesn't mean that you're leaving forever. You might come back. It's the same with me. So I hope you enjoyed. As I mentioned throughout this video, in case you're new to me, I run a 7-figure online business which allows me to travel and work anywhere in the world. If you want to learn more about what I do and how you might be able to do the same, you can book a call with me via the link in the description of this video. See you in the next one. Talk soon.